Did you know jellyfish have no heart, but they don't know it because they have no brains either? Hello, and here's some animal facts. To avoid being heard by sharks, marine iguanas can stop their own hearts for up to 45 minutes. Male fruit flies seek out alcohol when rejected for intercourse. Pandas don't have a sleeping spot, they just sleep wherever they want. Cheetahs are so shy and socially awkward that zoos sometimes pair them with emotional support dogs. Koala fingerprints are so close to humans that they could taint crime scenes. Ghost crabs growl using teeth located in their stomachs. The mantis shrimp has the world's fastest punch at speeds of 50 miles per hour. Contrary to popular belief, female lions actually do 90% of the hunting job. A grizzly bear's bite is strong enough to crush a bowling ball. Male horses have way more teeth than their female counterparts. A group of ferrets is called a business, funny enough. Reindeer eyes turn blue in the winter. They are normally golden or brown.
It's just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad.
Honey, don't you love me and you know it makes me sad.
It's just a cigarette like you always used to do.
I was different then, I don't need
Things humans were never meant to see.
Baby, we built this house on memories. Take my picture now, shake it till you see it. And when your fantasies become your leg.
How long you'd survive on other planets? On Earth,
They never bother me.
80 to 90 years. The conditions are perfect for humans. On Mercury,
I don't need a lot. Coffee's only a dime.
2 minutes.
Did you know that in the movie Martian all of the Mars scenes were actually filmed on Earth? This is due to the fact we cannot go to Mars to film. Did you know that there are more planes in the ocean than submarines in the sky?
Crazy mind-blowing fact you didn't know about PT.101. You can smell your own lungs. Your brain just filters it out. Alligators don't age biologically. They don't die from old age. They die from starvation or a disease. When a rooster crows, it partially pinches shut its ear canals so it won't deafen itself. There's a surgery called a rotationoplasty where they remove the middle of your leg, then reattach the foot backwards to your thigh so that your ankle can be your new knee for a prosthetic leg. Bad guys in movies can't use iPhones. Apple requires as a condition of licensing their products for use in film TV that only protagonists are allowed to operate them on camera. So if someone is using an iPad in a horror movie, they will not end up secretly being the killer.
Facts that will blow your mind. In an average grocery store, 1/4 of all the products contain ingredients that come from corn. You can die from laughter. A blue whale's heart is more than 5 feet long. A 3,500-year-old tablet may contain the world's oldest Yo Mama joke. Spiders can regrow their legs. Steve Jobs' last words were awe-inspired. The scientific name for a brain freeze is sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. Cows get excited when they problem solve. Nearly 1/3 of Alaska lies within the Arctic Circle. Roses can grow taller than people. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Facts that you probably didn't know, until now. A lot of us are used to taking flights that last anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, but did you know that the shortest flight in the world only lasts 57 seconds? A Logan Air flight between Scottish Islands Westray and Papa Westray only lasts 57 seconds and travels a distance of 1.7 miles. Like, bitch, I could run that. Another fun fact is one about elephants. Did you know not only do they hear out of their ears, but they can also hear out of their feet? Typically, to hear normal distances, elephants will open their ears like that and scan back and forth to hear. But to help them hear noises that are far away, they'll freeze, lean on their front legs, and that's how they hear. And lastly, we all know and love Pringles. Who doesn't love a good Pringle? The man responsible for creating the iconic Pringles can is named Frederick Bauer, but that's not the fun fact. The fun fact is that when he passed away, it was his dying wish that his remains be put in a Pringles can. His children honored the wish. They even debated over which flavor can they should put him in, and they settled on the original.
Crazy mind-blowing fact you didn't know about PT.101. You can smell your own lungs. Your brain just filters it out. Alligators don't age biologically. They don't die from old age. They die from starvation or a disease. When a rooster crows, it partially pinches shut its ear canals so it won't deafen itself. There's a surgery called a rotationoplasty where they remove the middle of your leg, then reattach the foot backwards to your thigh so that your ankle can be your new knee for a prosthetic leg. Bad guys in movies can't use iPhones. Apple requires as a condition of licensing their products for use in film TV that only protagonists are allowed to operate them on camera. So if someone is using an iPad in a horror movie, they will not end up secretly being the killer.
Adorable sea creatures that we don't pay enough attention to. Number one is sea bunnies. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at it. I mean, technically they're slugs, which is not dope, but they're fuzzy, and they're white, and they have little black ears, and they look like they're straight out of a Studio Ghibli movie. Or Ghibli, I don't know how to pronounce it. Seahorses. Pretty cute, right? Everyone knows a seahorse. Well, there's tiny ones. There's little baby tiny ones called pygmy seahorses. I don't have any images for scale, but it's like the size of your pinky nail. It is so absolutely tiny, I want to cry. And they're also masters of camouflage. They can blend in really well, so in my mind, I feel like they all get together and play hide and seek, and that's how I fight off my depression. And last but not least, we have the cheerleader crab, which is adorable to begin with, but good lord, you don't even know yet. One, it's super tiny. I think they're only like 1.5 centimeters each, so that's cute. But two, those little things in their hands, they're not even part of their anatomy. They pick those up. They're little anemones. They're little pom-poms that they like to carry around. And they help them pick up food and fend off predators or whatever, but I'm just here for the adorableness of that. Like, they are just always picking up little flowers. Golly!
You've seen videos of them performing tricks, waving their flippers, jumping in synchrony, and pushing trainers up into the air. But the intelligence that allows them to do this is the exact reason they shouldn't be doing it. The orca is the ocean's top predator. I mean top. They can hunt the world's biggest animal, the blue whale, and when they enter areas, it causes great whites to flee, because they can remove the livers of great whites with surgical precision. Orcas are classified as dolphins within the toothed whales, and they're the largest species of dolphin. They have the second largest brain on the planet at 15 pounds, with the world's biggest insular cortex, the part responsible for consciousness, empathy, and self-awareness. And these brains enable them to have very complex social lives. Orcas live in matriarchal groups known as pods, and these pods are matrilineal, meaning both sons and daughters stay in the mother's group for life. And different pods do interact with each other, such as to mate. Female orcas start to reproduce at around 14 and stop at around 30 or 40. What is interesting is that they carry on living for a long time after they stop reproducing. Male orcas die at 30 or 40, but females can live until 80, possibly longer. Living for so long after menopause is super rare. Only humans and a few other cetaceans also do this. The reason why this has evolved to happen is that older females become matriarchs who help the pod to survive. So instead of continuing to reproduce to pass on her genes, she helps her children to reproduce successfully by assisting the survival of grandchildren. And even better, by supporting her sons, she can pass on her genes to grandchildren who will then be raised by a different pod, meaning less mouths to feed. Matriarchs help the pod to survive by sharing the food they catch, but more importantly, by sharing their knowledge about how to hunt the pod's specific food type. Different pods can be classed together as an ecotype if they specialize on the same prey. Like in the North Pacific, there are 3 ecotypes: the offshore who eat sharks, the transient who eat marine mammals, and the residents who eat salmon. And in the Antarctic, Type A feeds on minke whales, small Type B feeds on penguins, and large Type B feeds on seals. These are the guys famous for creating waves to push seals off of ice, whilst Type C and D feed on fish. They hunt their specific prey type using cooperation and can do so because of their ability to communicate. Different pods have different calls, with pods that share some of the same calls being grouped together as a clan, and there can be multiple clans within an ecotype. And sound is also important for hunting in that they use echolocation to find the prey. Different ecotypes aren't genetically that distinct. What makes them so distinct is their different culture formed by their different dialects and hunting strategies. This culture is why they suffer a lot from human activity. Orcas, as a species, are generalists, but the species is made up of specialist ecotypes that feed on a specific food and inhabit specific areas, and so they may not be able to adapt to the changes we cause. Like as we continue to compete with the southern resident orcas for salmon, they may be unable to switch to a different food source. So despite their other name, the killer whale, and despite being the ocean's top predator, They have a lot more to fear of us than we do of them. Orcas have never fatally attacked humans in the wild. They've even been known to cooperate with humans in the wild, helping us hunt other whales. And they cannot be blamed for any fatalities that have happened in captivity. Orcas are incredible animals that we have so much to learn about. But from the tiny bit we have learned, they are intelligent, social, and worthy of lives of freedom in their natural habitat. And that habitat should be free from human pressure.
Animal facts you don't know. A single elephant tooth can weigh as much as 9 pounds. The flamingo can only eat when its head is upside down. Animals generate 30 times more waste than humans, which is 1.4 billion tons per year. An anteater is nearly 6 feet long, yet its mouth is only an inch wide. A grasshopper can leap 20 times the length of its own body. The smell of a skunk can be detected by a human from a mile away. The dumbest dogs in the world are the Afghan hounds statistically. Believe it or not, hippos can run faster than humans. Most elephants weigh less than the tongue of a blue whale. If you cut off a snail's eye, it will just grow a new one.
The giant squid had been a thing of legends for centuries, thanks to stories by seafarers and dead specimens washing up on shores. Until 1861, when the first live specimen was found by a French warship operating off the Canary Islands. In years to come, there would be many more sightings and dead specimens, so we knew it wasn't just a legend, and we knew some stuff about its morphology. But by the turn of the 20th century, we still did not have any photos or videos of a live giant squid, leaving a lot of questions about their behavior. So here is the story of how over the last 20 years, we have caught giant squids on camera. Okay, I first need to explain what a giant squid is. The species known colloquially as the giant squid is in the genus Architeuthis, and there is debate about the number of species, but most just think there's one. Architeuthis is the longest species of squid, reaching lengths of 40 to 50 or possibly 60 feet, which is 12 to 15 or possibly 18 meters. However, a different species, the colossal squid, is actually bigger in terms of mass, but it's slightly shorter at 30 to 40 feet or 9 to 12 meters. So how had such a big creature managed to be so elusive? Giant squids are not rare. We know this because one of the predators of giant squids is sperm whales, and we commonly find their remains in sperm whales' stomachs. So our story starts in 2001, when a scientist called O'Shea got the first video of a larval giant squid, but we were still lacking images of an alive adult. Then, in 2002, we got the first images of an alive adult giant squid. These images were taken at Gashiki Beach in Japan, but the squid had been found near the surface of the water, so we were still lacking images of an alive adult giant squid in its natural deep ocean habitat, which is what we needed to learn about its behavior. In 2004, a scientist called Kubadera dropped a baited line that also contained a camera in a known sperm whale hunting ground 600 miles off of Tokyo. After 20 attempts of this, a giant squid finally attacked the bait, and it snagged its tentacle, which meant the camera could take 500 photos before the squid broke free a few hours later. So now the mission is to get the first video of a live adult giant squid in its natural habitat. In 2006, there was a claimed recording of a giant squid that was featured in the History Channel program Monster Quest Giant Squid Found, but the expedition leader has subsequently said that it contained scientific errors. But in 2012, another expedition occurred, involving two of the aforementioned scientists, O'Shea and Kubadera, as well as a new player, Edith Widder. She's a scientist who works on bioluminescence, and she has some unique ideas about how we should be exploring the deep sea. She says that instead of using bright white lights to explore, which likely scares animals away, we can use red light to view animals, as this is invisible to most deep sea animals because they're adapted to see blue light. And so we can also use blue light to mimic bioluminescence in order to attract animals. This expedition took place in the same sperm whale feeding grounds where Kubadera got the images of a live adult in its natural habitat. And for this expedition, the three scientists all had a different approach. O'Shea's idea was to use ground up squid squirted from syringes as a chemical lure. Kubadera's idea was to use a large squid bait, so a chemical lure with an optical lure attached. And Widder's idea was to use a purely optical lure. She used an E-jelly, designed to imitate the bioluminescent defense displays of the deep-sea jellyfish Atolla. Giant squids don't eat Atollas, but the jellyfish produces this light when it's being eaten by a predator in the hopes of attracting an even larger predator to eat its predator. Widder says that her approach was considered to be the long shot, but it was the first to prove successful. The very first deployment of the E-jelly with a camera led to the following footage, and a later deployment led to this full body shot of the giant squid coming in to attack what it believed to be a jellyfish's predator. And then, only a few days later, Kubodera's approach also proved successful. His use of a bait in addition to the optical lure meant he got a much longer encounter than Widder's few seconds. They filmed the giant squid for 23 minutes whilst it fed, and since the squid was feeding, they were able to turn on the bright white lights without it fleeing, leading to the first high-resolution video. The videos captured using these two techniques taught us a lot about giant squid behaviour, in particular about how they feed. See, squid's gullets pass through a small hole in their donut-shaped brain, so swallowing too big a meal could cause brain damage. The stomach contents of dead giant squids show that they eat fish and other squid, but the energy required to hunt down these food for them to only then be eaten in small bites raises a few questions. This led us to think that perhaps giant squids weren't active predators, but rather sit-and-wait predators. However, the two videos showed the giant squids actively attacking, and when they recovered Kubodera's bait, despite the giant squid feeding for 23 minutes, they found only small bites had been taken from it, meaning that somehow giant squids are active predators that then nibble their prey. And in 2019, Widder did another expedition in US waters, again recording more footage of the giant squid, showing her method really works and the first time wasn't just luck. Though there was a bit of luck involved in this expedition, as after they recorded the footage, the ship got struck by lightning, and though other computers were fried, the computer containing the only copy of the footage of the giant squid was fine. So perhaps we should be trying to study the deep sea in a different way. Instead of using blinding lights and noisy vehicles, maybe we should be trying to blend in. If we do this, who knows what other deep-sea creatures we'll be able to capture on camera.
Jaguar facts you didn't know. Jaguars are smart enough to use the end of their tail as a fishing bait. They wave it in the water and attract fish. They're also one of the only big cats that actually likes getting into the water. And they're even known to dive deep in order to hunt caimans. They also happen to have the strongest bite out of all the big cats. Rather than just suffocating their prey, they go for the skull and crush it. Black jaguars are actually the exact same species as the spotted ones.
Animals that'll be gone by 2025. Now, just a warning, this video might make you sad. Alright, so first we have koalas. And if you didn't know, they are only found in Australia, but sadly they'll be completely gone by 2025 because of bushfires and extreme droughts. Next, we have sloths. And the reason is they might go extinct is because they're literally too lazy to reproduce. Plus, they tend to fall from really high places, so that doesn't help. Then finally, we have pandas, and it's rumored that only 1,500 of them are left in the whole world, and out of those, 600 of them are in captivity. And like the sloth mentioned before, pandas can reproduce fast enough. Let me know if you know any others.
What's cooler than a giant squid? Something that eats a giant squid. Meet the sperm whale. It's the largest toothed creature on the planet. The biggest sperm whale ever recorded was a 68-foot male, and their teeth may reach 8 inches, though female sperm whales are smaller, at around 40 feet. And this is because a lot of the male's size comes from its enlarged head. In fact, about a third of the male's body length can be taken up by its head. Why does the male have such a large head? One idea is that they use it to ram other males when fighting for females. This idea came about from whalers claiming sperm whales would deliberately collide with ships to sink them, which since they were being hunted, I think was pretty justified. And today there is some scientific backing for it, like that in theory they would be able to do it, but it's never actually been observed and is a little controversial. And this is because of what's inside their heads, the spermaceti organ, filled with fats and waxes known as spermaceti. And this is where sperm whales get their name from, because whalers thought it looked like... yeah. This organ is what generates the clicking sounds they use for echolocation and communication. And so why would they ram each other when it could potentially damage such a precious organ? However, a solution could be that the melon below the spermaceti organ acts as a shock absorber. They use their echolocation to help them find prey because they hunt in the deep sea up to 2,000 meters down where there isn't any light. And along with giant squids, they consume other cephalopods, fish, and even sharks. And despite the huge damage to their population size caused by whaling, they still consume more seafood from the ocean annually than humans do. The clicks they produce to find prey reach 230 decibels, making them the loudest animal on the planet. For context, 150 decibels is enough to burst a human eardrum, and the human body could be vibrated to death at 200 decibels. So it's theorized that the clicks don't just help them find the prey, they may even use the clicks to stun it. But again, we don't know this for sure, and this is because we've never seen sperm whales predating in the deep. What we know is inferred from their stomach contents and scars left on their bodies. But they don't just use sound for echolocation, they also use it to communicate. They produce patterns of clicks known as coders. Sperm whales live in matrilineal social units, where females stay together for life and cooperate to protect and nurse their young. Male sperm whales are part of the social unit when they're young, but later leave. All sperm whales within a social unit produce the same coders, and different social units that produce the same coders are grouped together as a clan. Different clans therefore have different coders, and different clans do not interact with each other at all. Different clans have nearly identical nuclear DNA, so the divisions between them aren't genetic. They're cultural. They're being separated by language. So sperm whales are very intelligent, and this is facilitated by them having the largest brains on the planet. And in that brain, they have a neocortex that is 6 times the size of humans, the part responsible for conscious thought, future planning, and language. They also have spindle cells, which in humans control suffering, compassion, and love. So what we know about sperm whales is incredible. But we're only just beginning to understand them, what they get up to in the deep, how they feed. We're even still working out how many clans there are and the population sizes of these clans. Most exciting, we're working out the repertoire of coders they can make and what these coders mean. Perhaps one day we'll have footage of them eating giant squids and could communicate with them using coders to tell them just how cool they are.
The silverback gorilla is a subspecies of the eastern gorilla and is one of the largest and most powerful primates in the world. They are named after the distinctive patch of silver-gray hair that develops on the back of adult males, which gives them their iconic appearance. Silverback gorillas are native to the mountainous regions of Central and Eastern Africa, primarily found in Uganda, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Silverback gorillas are incredibly strong animals, and while precise measurements of their lifting capacity are challenging to determine, they are estimated to have exceptional strength compared to humans. It is believed that a silverback gorilla could potentially lift or exert forces far beyond what an average human can achieve. Some estimations suggest that they might be able to exert forces equivalent to lifting or moving approximately 1,800 to 2,000 pounds in specific scenarios. If you ever see one of these out in the wild, I suggest to run.
Top 3 largest animals of all time. Number 3. Megalodon. The megalodon was a massive prehistoric shark species that existed approximately from 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Fossils suggest that the megalodon could reach lengths of up to 18 meters, making it one of the largest and most powerful predators in vertebrate history. Its large, sharp teeth are often found fossilized and serve as a testament to the shark's predatory capabilities. Although there are no true photos of the megalodon due to its prehistoric era, artistic depictions and photos of fossilized teeth and jaws give us an idea of its colossal size. Number 2. Blue whale. The blue whale holds the title of the largest animal currently living, and perhaps the largest that has ever existed. Measuring up to 30 meters in length and weighing up to 200 tons, their size is truly awe-inspiring. These marine mammals are known for their distinctive blue-gray color and powerful, impressive calls, which can be heard over long distances underwater. Photos of blue whales, often taken by researchers and marine biologists, capture the majesty and immensity of these gentle ocean giants. Number 1. Argentinosaurus. The Argentinosaurus is one of the largest land animals that ever existed. Discovered in Argentina, hence its name, this dinosaur could reach lengths of up to 40 meters and weigh up to 100 tons. Despite its enormous size, the Argentinosaurus was herbivorous. Fossil evidence, like vertebrae and limb bones, constitutes our main source of knowledge about this massive creature. Photos of their skeletal remains are a striking reminder of the scale of these prehistoric animals.